Hey everybody out there, Dirk from the PrimeXBT Trading Academy here with the newest episode of That Crypto Show. On today's episode, I want to show you how to find the best co-vesting strategies on the PrimeXBT.com trading platform. So stay tuned and I'm going to see you in 20 seconds. Welcome back. Now, before we start, I have to say the usual. If you like what we are telling you here, please leave us a like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot, appreciate it. As you might already know, the co-vesting module allows you to do two things. You can either follow other successful traders on the platform, or you can create your own co-vesting trading strategy and earn success fees every time you execute a successful trade for one of your followers. On this video, we are going to concentrate on how to find good co-vesting strategies. If you're looking for general information on how to navigate the co-vesting module, we are going to leave a link up here to videos that explain that to you. Now, a lot of times I get asked the question, Dirk, how do I find the best co-vesting strategy to follow on the platform? And my answer to that question is always the same. I always answer, it depends. And it depends on your personal risk-reward appetite. And what that means, I'm going to show you now. So once you log into the co-vesting module up here, you usually land here on the rating tab. And you can find all available co-vesting strategies here. They are usually sorted by their total performance. At the moment of the recording of this video, by the way, there are around about 150 different strategies available. Of course, it would be a hideous amount of work, to click through all of them. So we've added some features here that make your life a little bit easier. One of them is you can sort, for example, by total performance, by today's performance, by the number of active days, so the number of days the strategy has already been traded as a co-vesting strategies. You can sort by the number of followers, by the followers' equity, so how much money other people have put into the strategy, into following the strategy. And a good way to start, in my opinion, always is to click here on the filter tab and filter for active days. And you have a choice here to filter for strategies that have been active for more than 30 days, 60 days and 90 days. Why does it make sense to use this filter? I think everybody that has been trading for a while knows the situation. There are days or weeks where your performance is above average, where every trade you enter seems to be a success. And there are days and weeks where whatever you touch, whatever position you open seems to be running against you. And by filtering the strategies that have been already in place for a certain number of days, you kind of blend this metric out. So you kind of see the average performance the strategy has been doing over all time. So for the sake of it, we are going to filter here now by 90 days. And this reduces our strategies already by a lot and leaves some strategies. And for example, now, for the sake of it, we find the strategy here by the user Jamel, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, X, that has a total performance of almost 31,000%, which is of course very impressive, especially if in comparison to just 94 days active. And if we want to find out more about the strategy, we can click on the strategy and then we'll find some metrics. We'll not only find like the total amount of performance, today's performance, we'll see how much money the manager himself or herself has put into the strategy. So we can see he's trading around about 40,000 or 0.93 Bitcoins of his or her own money. So this is an important metric. Does the manager trust his own strategy? And we can, for example, also see how much money is currently following the strategy. And we can see other PrimeXBT.com users have put around about 1.15 million US dollars in the strategy at the moment. So that's 1,229 followers. There are other metrics here, such called as a rating, which I highly encourage you to look into as well. We also can see a total performance chart of the strategy for all time, for the last 30 days, the last 7 days, or even the last 24 hours. We can see how the manager's equity has developed over this time, how the follower's equity has developed over the time, and how the margin use of the manager was. And this is divided in yellow, in green, and in red areas. What that means we'll look at later. Another important metric for you if you are planning on following strategy is the profit distribution table. So depending on what amount you are willing to put into a strategy, your share of a profit will be. So if you say, I just want to try out the strategy, I just want to put in a rather low amount of money, you will have 60% of a performance. So for every 100 US dollars you have in performance, 60 US dollars are going to stay with you. And you can up this up to 75% if you're willing to put in 0.1 Bitcoins or more. Now, there's a very, very important metric, in my opinion, that you need to look at if you want to find out if a strategy, and this one we are just taking as an example now, is by really any means, I'm not going to say is this a good or bad strategy. This is always something very personal. You have to decide for yourself how much you are willing to risk to gain a certain performance. But what we can see here, for example, is, okay, in the last 90 days, this strategy has made 13,000%. So the total performance is 30,000% at the moment. And it had a maximum drawdown through all this time since inception of the strategy of 94.15%. So that means in order to gain this performance of round about 31,000%, at one point the strategy was 94% underwater. Now, if you hear something like this, a drawdown, there was a minus of 94% at one time, the normal reaction to this, of course, would always be, and this is the natural reaction, like, Dirk, oh my God, why should I risk so much money if, like, at one point all the money was almost lost? But you have to keep in the back of your head here and into your calculation that you also on the other side had a performance of almost 31,000%. So that means if you put in 100 US dollars, you would now have 31,000 US dollars. And then, of course, the question relevates itself, because you could also ask yourself then, am I willing to risk 100 US dollars to gain 31,000 US dollars? And if I would have asked you the question like this, you probably would have said, yeah, for sure I'm going to do this. I can try this a lot of times until I've come to a point where I have put in more money than I'm getting out. Absolutely correct. This is something you have to take in consideration. A general rule of thumb here is the higher the short-term performance of a strategy is, the more drawdown you will probably see as well. And this is just natural. This is the natural law of business. This is the natural law of earning money. If you want to earn a lot of money, you probably have to risk a lot too. So maybe, if you are a type of person who's a bit risk averse, who thinks like, oh, okay, I'm probably emotionally going to be very, very highly affected if my initial investment goes down by 94% first before I see some nice returns. It's going to be me nervous. I'm probably going to exit the strategy then and take my losses. Well, maybe then this strategy would be something that is not for you. And that's the good thing. If you choose for yourself, okay, this would make me too nervous, you can go on here and you can go through all of the strategies and choose a strategy maybe that is more suitable to your risk-reward appetite. And a pretty good indication for choosing a strategy like this is if you look at those performance chart here, you can see, is it like rising very smoothly or is it very choppy, for example? So this gives you a first indication already of, hey, is this a strategy that is worthwhile following for me, or this is a strategy I rather want to stay away from? So for example, this one, 52% performance, maximum drawdown 46%. So this is more on the lighter side already. So in order to buy in brackets was 52%. I had to risk around about the same money. So this is a risk-reward ratio round about of 1-to-1, which is not too bad. And I highly recommend it. So another thing you could do here really is to never put all of your money into one strategy. Never put all of your eggs into one basket, but instead choose a portfolio. Maybe put some money in a strategy that has a very high performance, but also a potential high drawdown, and maybe put some money into a strategy that has supposedly a lower performance, but also a lower drawdown. So this is really up to you. I highly recommend you to also read our blog post on this called 5 Tips to Choosing the Right Strategy for You on Covesting, which gives you an overview on everything I've told you here as well. I'm going to leave a link for you here in the description of the video so you can read this for yourself. And please share with me if you have done Covesting already. How was the experience with it? How much money did you earn with it? Or do you have maybe any tips for good strategies to follow? This concludes today's episode of That Crypto Show on how to find the best Covesting strategy for you. Again, guys, please follow us, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you again on the next episode of That Crypto Show. Goodbye.